Welcome, everybody, to the Social Dig, the greatest underrated show on the World Wide Web. I'm your host, Mr. Rob G. And as always, we're going to be digging into the topics to keep you talking and the talk that keeps you thinking. So come on in, kick your feet up, get an ice cold beverage, and get ready to join the conversation. Back here at the late night call-in show, as we are doing every single Saturday right here at the Social Dig. We just left the after hours joint. Now we're over here. Gonna be a fun time here. Do appreciate everybody coming on in. We're gonna get this thing going tonight. Let me go ahead and bring up the information we have here. We have Ask the Chat. We have the phone number here. You guys can call this number at any time. This number is 24/7, 856-843-3444. That's 856 the dig. As well, I have the link provided in the chat tonight, right up at the top pinned, where you can also join the stage and just join the conversation. I think it'd be a good time. You know, we're in the spooky month here, spooky season, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing started right. Let me go ahead and take a look at the chat here. It looks like we got awesome stuff going on. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. We got Deb from SAC who became a new member. Let me round up the band here. I'll do that after we do the intro. Also, thanks Deb Sack for the awesome super chat as well. Let's see here. Who else do we have in here? We have Jessica S in the building. Thanks for coming in, Jessica S. We got Kitty Catty Whack. Thanks for coming in, Kitty Catty Whack. Area 51. Appreciate you showing up here, buddy. As always. Let's see who else we have. We have Joe Monk. Joe Monk is in the building. Appreciate you showing up. Richard Minnick. YouTube didn't give you a notification. That is peculiar, man. They are trying to silence the show. I think that's what they're doing here. They have to be. And yeah, appreciate you guys coming on in. Richard Minnick says, release the Kraken. Deb from SAC is the right idea. Hit that like, damn it. That's what I like. Let's go ahead and do that. And also, let me go ahead and situate a few things here, because I want to also promote the fact, obviously, that we have the memberships available. Become a social soldier today, which a lot of you did, and I'm just blown away. It is so awesome to be able to, have a support group just like that. And I know you guys understand what we're doing here, and I know you appreciate what it is that we do. And we're going to continue to do it. We're going to do it at an even higher level. They're going to want to shut this down, and that might be why the notifications aren't showing up. That's one of my first thoughts here. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get ready to get into this show tonight. It's a late night. We can do whatever you want. Just let me know, and we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, we need some more likes. Richard Minnick has the right idea. 7 likes, 12 watching. Come on, let's bring them in. Let's bring them on in. I'm sure we'll get more to trickle in as well as we get ready to get into the show. But I wanted to go ahead and get this thing started by just thanking Deb from Sacramento for becoming a new member. Just awesome. Yeah. Very awesome and appreciated. And Dogface and everyone else, let me read off the list, because it just blew my mind when I saw this today. And I haven't been able to update this slide yet to reflect this yet, but I want to verbally just thank everyone who was able to step up and do that. I mean, I'm going to read everyone. The Beekeeper, Deb or D Nunley, Maggie M10, T-Bone, and Joanne, Deb from Sacramento, Poncho Zork, Woo Riders DG, Dogface, Lovey Love, Richard Wilson, and to Mothman. I just want to thank you guys all for without getting emotional about it, I just really appreciate you guys. I really do. And on top of that, Dad from Sacramento kicked it off with the super chat like that. Is that what that is? Oh my God, Dad. Yeah, man, just thank you so much. I don't even know what to say. I appreciate you guys just believing in what it is that we do here. And yeah, yeah, blessed, blessed. UFO Tim James, thanks for coming on in, man. We appreciate you showing up. Says, okay, finally at home, toast to the host. Now let's get this ball rolling, right? Enough with the sappy stuff. Let's get this thing going, right? I think that's where we're at with it. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Oh, the humanity, guys. Yeah, this is Richard Minnick. We're just one weird, cool family. Man, you guys don't know, man. Like I do this for you guys, man. I really do. Like the energy I put into this, and it's just to see that people appreciate it. That's the thing that really gets me, and I appreciate it. I don't know what else to say with that. I don't want to get all emotional here, but hey, I really do appreciate it. Uh, I don't know about the beer tomorrow, man, but hey, we can link up. We're close enough, man. We could go out and get a beer. Obviously, we can make that happen. With that being said, guys, let's get the show going. I just one more time for you guys. Very emotional. Let me bring in my guy. Ah, boy, Drew Banky. Come on over from the after hours, man. Appreciate you showing up, dude. Sitting here getting all emotional, man, because they're showing love, dude.
Oh,
I
I was at this is the third program I've been with you on today, and I saw that earlier. Man, that was amazing. A dog face gifting 5 people with free subscriptions, or man, that's just amazing. Like
it
that,
is.
that's what community support's about. Like, you
Oh,
know what I'm saying? That's when you know you're doing something right. But I got a topic I want to talk about tonight.
let's
Like,
do it.
it might not be too serious, but
Yeah, let's go.
is Steve O and RFK Jr. related because they sound the same?
Man, this is that man, Devo, man. Yeah, I like
They
Steve-O
sound
though.
alike. Pull up clips of each of them side by side. You wouldn't be able to tell a difference.
That's
I was
hecka
listening.
funny, man. That's hecka funny. Richard Minnick, thank you so much. Saying Drew. Appreciate you, Richard Minnick. Appreciate your support. It means a lot, man. It really does mean a lot. Oh man, it really does mean a lot. Lovey Love says, also, damn, Rob, you're working a long ass day. Yeah, I had to commit to it. I had to commit to it. Because I wanted to make sure that we got one of the, experience with phenomena, which was awesome with Polly Rotterman. Shout out to
Mm.
Polly. Thanks for man. That was an awesome experience that she sat up here and talked about. It was awesome meeting her as well for the first time. And like I said, people that are doing this, you know, with genuine intent. And I think that's what I said about her, and it's true, and it's the same thing I say about Drew. It's the same thing, when I see it, I call it out for sure. I always do. And it's always great because that's another person that will be able to add to the conversation, right? So she'll have that conversation over there with UFO man. She'll come and have it over here when she wants to do that. But just another voice out there, with genuine intent behind what it is that they're saying. And if that can be the model, if we can spread that and just more of you guys become voices, and some may not want to, but some may take that road. I'm always going to call it out, and always congratulate and be very supportive of people in those that are doing that. So shout out to Polly, shout out to the awesome show. If you missed that show, by the way, you can get it right here in the archive for free, right here at the Social Dig. It is a great show. But yeah, back to what Drew was saying here. So RFK Jr. and Steve O, that's funny. That is, because I can think of Steve O's voice right off the bat. I know
Yeah.
Steve O's voice, and I guess that
Right.
they're kind of the same. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
what you mean by
No,
that.
it's just funny. It's just funny.
It is
You know
funny.
what I'm saying?
Joe Monk says that's rude, man.
Yeah, you can say I'm a Z-list celebrity now, so I can start talking about other celebrities. Once you make the Z-list platform,
I
and
can't.
I'm there. So
Did I just delete? I just deleted. No, yes, I did.
don't delete
Wow.
it.
I had a list of topics that we could have talked about, but apparently somebody didn't want me to do it because the list. Oh my god! Hold on. Okay, it's gone. Oh well. All right, yeah. Go ahead, give us some topics then, Drew, because I had a list of topics I was going to pick from,
Hmm.
but now they're
Hmm.
gone.
Spooky story, dude. We need it. We
Oh, wait.
need spooky stories. We need call-ins. How many people? Do we got any people down there in the box?
Yeah,
Let
we
us see.
got looks like we got Jim that's about to join us here. And yeah, you're right, Drew. Spooky stories would be
It's
pretty cool.
Halloween. It's Halloween time.
Let's
So
get some spooky stuff going on here.
yeah.
I'll get a little ambiance. Dev from Sac wants trivia. And we'll do some of that. Why not? Why not?
Did you did you ever hear the story of RFK and the bear in
No, let's hear about it, Drew.
Central Park?
Let's hear about it.
So apparently RFK Jr. come across this like bear, and he was supposed to go. I might be missing some facts, but I was heard this on a podcast. It's like just funny, and it's perfect for this late night stuff. But he found this bear, and he was gonna skin it, so or whatever. It was dead. It was like roadkill or something. So he picked it up and put it in the trunk of his car, and he had to go on a flight, and he ended up taking it and dropping it off, and basically kind of like staging that this bear was there, or whatever,
Hmm.
or like staging this incident, and kind of got caught. Like people saw him and stuff, and it was a whole incident. Like back in the day, you could probably find look it up and find it, but it's just a crazy story, and the story of RFK and this little baby bear, and it happened in like, I think if I'm not mistaken, he dropped it off in Times Square. I mean, not Times Square, but Central Park in New York.
Yeah,
So it's like it's a wild story. I think I heard on Rogan or something like that. But
yeah. Les
yeah,
Diaz says RFK dumped a dead bear in Central Park, New York. That is insane.
yeah.
That
No,
is
I know
insane.
I know Joe is sounds like an RFK fan. I am too, man. But I'll just like talking about him and Steve. I like, it's just I kind of think I've been thinking about doing some stand up. So I'm kind of like, you know, I don't know, think about doing some open mic stand up soon or something. But I don't know, trying different things.
Yeah. Let's get into some spooky stuff here, man.
Yeah, spooky stuff. All right.
I got some good stuff. So I got some trivia, some Halloween trivia that we'll end up getting into here. But let me see if I can get a spooky Halloween story real quick just to kind of get it going. Because I can't think of anything in my own personal life that's really spooky. They'd be spooky enough for this. I think Deb asked me that last year and I had nothing for her.
So I got a little one while you're looking for something. So
Yeah.
a few back in 2019, I was at Contact in the Desert, and it's me and my wife, and this is before the two babies. But so is my stepdaughter was there with us. She was a teenager, and we were in this cabin, like a one room cabin. Me and my wife were sleeping over on like the bed, like the couch pull out like bed, and we gave her the bed because it was only like it was a small. It ended up being we got the bigger bed basically. So she was sleeping in the bed over in the corner of the cabin, and like this, this may sound funny, like I may be making this up, but I ended up farting, and I heard her say her laugh, and I was like. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh my God, Alyssa's awake. And she laughed and she goes, Buddhist culture, like just clear as a day. And and I looked over towards her, and above her, this purple swirl of, I don't know, energy. I guess best way I could describe it, like a portal opened up above her, and it was swirling like an energy portal above her and on the ceiling. And I asked her, and I knew I was awake when I did it. Like it wasn't like a dream, that I was going through. Like this is definitely awake. I was definitely awake and seeing this. And to this day, I tell her that story, and she's like, I didn't say that. I was like, I wish I would have recorded it, because it was very, how it started off was very comical, but how it ended, it was an extreme experience for me. And that was probably when it comes up spooky, like that comes to mind, like for me, for sure. Because
you can't handle the truth.
They can't handle the truth, Drew.
I've seen a lot of different things, but it was like paranormal. It was more paranormal for me than it was like spiritual or anything like that. I don't know, a little different.
Well, here we go. We're going to set the mood a little bit here as we get into a spooky story. This is how you get it started. We're going to start it off just like this. This story is called... Wait, maybe I should do some... Maybe it's too light. All right, this story is going to be called The Whispering Shadows of Hollow Oak. In the heart of a small, forgotten town lay a forest called Hollow Oak, known for its ancient, gnarled trees and impenetrable darkness. The town folk always warned their children to stay away, for deep within the woods was a clearing where no birds sang, no animals roamed, and an eerie silence always lingered. They called it the Whispering Grove. Legend had it that many years ago, a group of travelers had sought refuge in Hollow Oak during a violent storm. When they didn't return, the town sent a search party into the forest. Days passed, but nothing was found except the travelers' belongings, neatly arranged in the grove. No footprints, no sign of struggle, just a strange circle of trees, their twisted branches forming what looked like clawed hands reaching towards the sky. From that day on, anyone who ventured too close would hear whispers. a language no one understood carried on the wind. One fateful Halloween night, a group of teenagers eager to debunk the stories decided to camp in the forest. Armed with flashlights and bravado, they laughed off the warnings and made their way deep into the trees. As they neared the Whispering Grove, the air grew heavy, the temperature dropped, and an unsettling feeling of being watched gnawed at their nerves. But they pressed on, determined to prove that the tales were nothing more than superstition. They set up their camp near the grove, close enough to the infamous clearing, but far enough that the eerie whispers were barely audible. The night fell quickly, and as the fire crackled, the forest seemed to press in on them. The shadows cast by the flames danced amongst the trees, taking on unnatural shapes. The whispers began again, low at first, like the rustle of dead leaves, but growing louder with each passing minute. They sounded almost like voices. At first, the group shrugged it off, convincing themselves it was just the wind. But soon, the whispers became distinct, insistent, almost like a conversation taking place just beyond the fire's light. One by one, the teens began to hear their names being called, soft, pleading voices, as if someone they knew was lost in the woods calling for help. The bravado melted into fear. Suddenly, the fire flickered violently and went out, plunging the group deep into darkness. Panicked, they fumbled for their flashlights, but the beams barely cut through the suffocating blackness. The whispers were all around them now, louder and more frantic, echoing off the trees. The once familiar voices twisted into something cold and malevolent. One of the teens, a boy named Ethan, shouted that they should leave. But as he stepped towards the path that come from his flashlight illuminated grove, there, standing just beyond the trees, were figures, dozens of them. Their faces were pale, their eyes hollow, and their mouths moved, whispering something Ethan couldn't make out. They didn't move, they just stared. The others turned to see what had frozen Ethan in place, and the same terrible realization dawned on them. These figures were the missing travelers from years ago, their forms barely human, shadows of the people they once were. But something was wrong. These shadows were twisted, as if time had warped them into grotesque versions of themselves. Without warning, figures began to move, slowly at first, then faster, closing in on the group. The whispers now were deafening, not just in their ears, but inside their minds, unraveling their thoughts, filling them with dread. The teens bolted in all directions, desperate to escape the haunted grove. But no matter how far or how fast they ran, the forest seemed to bend and shift, keeping them trapped in a labyrinth of trees and shadows. The figures followed, always at the edge of their vision, always just out of reach. But their whispers never ceased. By morning, the town awoke to silence. The teens were never seen again, and the legend of Hollow Oak grew. People say if you listen closely at the edge of the forest, you can still hear the whispers, calling out in the voices of those who disappeared, begging for release. And the Whispering Grove remains, waiting for the next soul foolish enough to enter its dark embrace. And that's how we'll get started tonight. I think that was a freaking awesome story. I don't know about you, but that was pretty spooky, yo. What you think?
I have chills.
Chills. One's in the chat if that was spooky. That was a spooky story. Please tell me you heard that whole story. One's in the chat if that was a spooky story. One's in the chat if that was a spooky story.
I will do one.
Okay,
Oh.
we got a 1 from Drew Banky.
Oh my God,
Says it was
Debs.
spooky. Lovey Love says it was spooky. Deb says her nipples are hard.
Days. Late night show.
Yeah, JSCO77 did 1 because it was spooky. That was spooky.
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones said it was definitely spooky. Area 51 says it was spooky too. That was definitely spooky. I didn't expect it to be that spooky. So I'll maybe hit you with another one here. Let me see if I can find another one, and then I'll turn it over to anyone else who wants to. Anyone who wants to go ahead and tell a spooky, and it would be, and if it was real, maybe I should act like the story is real. Nah, that'd be fronting. I'm not.
Well, it is real. It's real in someone's world.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Now, hopefully, this one isn't similar, but okay, here we go. This one is called The Midnight Caller. There was an old, crumbling house on the outskirts of town, a place so overgrown and neglected that most people avoided it without thinking twice. But anyone who knew the town's history knew why the house stood abandoned, and they warned others to stay far away, especially on Halloween night. They called it the Midnight Caller's House. The legend goes that decades ago, a woman named Margaret lived alone in that house. She was a recluse, but every Halloween, she would receive a single phone call at the stroke of midnight. No one ever knew who was on the other end of the line, but after every call, Margaret seemed to change, becoming more paranoid, more fearful, until one year, she disappeared without a trace. The only thing left in her home was the phone, still off the hook, the line dead. Years later, a new family moved into town, unaware of the house's dark past. On a crisp Halloween night, the youngest daughter, Emily, dared her older brother, Jack, to break into the house and stay there until midnight. She had heard the spooky stories from the other kids at school and thought Jack was skeptical. He wasn't about to back down from a challenge. Armed with nothing but a flashlight, Jack climbed through the broken window of the Midnight Caller's house. The air inside was thick with dust, and the boards beneath his feet creaked with each step. The walls were cracked, and the furniture was draped in cobwebs, as if time had frozen in place since Margaret's disappearance. He wandered the empty rooms, laughing at how silly the stories were. Nothing was out of the ordinary until the clock on the mantle began to tick. Jack hadn't noticed it before, but his ticking grew louder, echoing through the house. He checked his phone. 11:55 p.m. The closer it got to midnight, the more uneasy Jack felt. A chill ran down his spine, and the shadows in the corner seemed to deepen, moving in the flickering beam of his flashlight. 11:58 p.m. The air grew heavier, and the ticking of the clock became deafening, as if it were pounding inside his head. 11:59 p.m. Jack heard it, the unmistakable sound of an old-fashioned phone ringing. But it wasn't coming from his cell. No, it was a landline, the kind that no one used anymore. The sound echoed through the house, coming from somewhere deep within. Ding dong ding, the clock struck midnight. The phone kept ringing, its tone sharp and insistent. Jack's heart raced as he followed the sound down a long hallway toward a door that stood slightly ajar. With a trembling hand, he pushed it open. There, on a small table covered in dust, was the source of the ringing, an ancient rotary phone, its black surface gleaming as though it hadn't aged a day. Jack hesitated, sweat beading on his forehead. Who could be calling? Who still had the number for this abandoned house? Ring, ring, ring. Compelled by a force he couldn't understand, Jack reached out and lifted the receiver. For a moment, there was only silence on the other end, an oppressive stillness that made Jack's skin crawl. Then a faint voice whispered through the static, barely audible but unmistakably cold. We've been waiting for you. Jack's breath caught in his throat as the room around him seemed to shift. The air grew icy, and the shadows on the walls twisted and warped, forming grotesque shifting shapes. Something was moving in the dark, something watching him. The voice on the other end grew louder, more insistent. Come closer. The lights on his phone flickered and the shadows crept closer, taking on the form of figures, tall, faceless, their arms outstretched as if reaching for him. Jack dropped the phone, backing away, but the whispers didn't stop. The figures moved with him, closing the distance, their whispers merging into one voice. You answered the call. Now you cannot leave. Panic surged through him as the room's walls seemed to close in, the floorboards groaning under the weight of the advancing shadow. Jack turned and bolted for the door. But no matter how fast he ran, the house twisted around him, trapping him in the labyrinth of endless hallways and rooms. The whispers followed, growing louder and frantic. As he turned a corner, he skidded to a halt. Standing in the center of the hallway was a woman, her hair hanging limp over her face, her clothes tattered and covered in dust. She lifted her head, and through the strands of hair, Jack could see her sunken, hollow eyes. It was Margaret. You shouldn't have answered, she rasped, her voice barely a breath. Now they'll take you too. The shadow surged towards him, and the last thing Jack saw was the darkness swallowing him whole, the whispers consuming his mind. The next morning, when Emily and her parents went to find Jack, the house was empty. His flashlight lay on the floor, its beam flickering weakly, and the phone sat silently on the table. No one ever heard from Jack again. But every Halloween night, if you stand outside that house at midnight, you can still hear the phone ringing. And if you listen closely, you might just hear Jack's voice whispering from the shadows. Whoa, okay. Now I'm getting scared now. This is scary, man. It's spooky. That's flat out spooky. Ones if that was spooky. Give me ones if that was spooky. Give me twos if that was spookier than the last story. And give me 3 if you want another story. Or someone could come on stage and tell a story. I know we got Jim in the back here, and he may have a spooky story for us. But I got a 3 and I got a 1. So we're saying it was spooky. We're saying we want another spooky. Area 51 wants to put 5 because 5 is 3 plus 2 or 4 plus 1. But 5 isn't a number that we mentioned tonight. So I don't know what he means when he puts that in the chat.
So all of them together.
2.
It's spooky,
One.
but it was spookier than the other one. But plus he wants another. So
That sounds about right. Yeah, go ahead, Drew.
one time when I was in Boy Scouts when I was younger, I was probably, like, I don't know, preteen, and we were camping in this area, and the story was that there was this house that burnt down, and there was this old foundation, like a brick foundation, and that was the only thing that left, and a like a fireplace. So so it was like a challenge for us to go hiking back. It was only like, like a half mile or quarter mile, 3/4 mile hike from where we were camping at, but it was at night, and there was like this path that went back to it, and it was like a rite of passage to go to do it at night. And even with a group, it was still a challenge to do it. Everyone was scared because there was a lot of stories about hearing, like, because supposedly like a family died in that house fire, and this happened like a long time ago, like hundreds of years ago or 100 years ago. But this foundation still set there, and a lot of stories around it. So we went back there and was around it and did the walk back. And when we were walking back, we walked through an area in the woods that was a considerable change in temperature, like a lot colder. There was like a pocket of cold air that was trapped in the woods or something. And we walked through it, and everyone realized at the same time. There's, probably like 5 or 6 of us, and we took off running, man. Like I don't even think about this anymore until, like, I guess it's the music in the background like brings us back up. But that's definitely a spooky thing from when I was a child that I remember, that.
Yeah.
Still, like, I still don't have a answer for it. I heard after that, like, there's these cases of air being trapped in certain areas of the woods, and it's not unheard of to go like find different pockets where air changes. But I'm telling you, like, I can remember it to this day, like, and this was 30 years ago or so, but the temperature change was so drastic it alarmed all of us, and we took off running.
That'll do it. And I can see how music would trigger that for you, because this is probably playing in your head, kid. Because you over exaggerate things. You think you do, but knowing what we know now about cryptids and things like that, who knows, right? I mean, when you felt something when you were walking down the hall in the dark, and you felt something you looked over your shoulder, and your mother was like, "There's nothing there." There could have been something there. Now that we know what we know about weird things like that, could be.
Yeah, who knows? There's. I think all of us go through this. We replay different things that happened in our childhood. Like, now that we're looking at life from a different standpoint, like you're saying,
Yep.
I think we all go through that. And it's not just with just paranormal stuff. I think it goes a lot of different subjects, but all of us had something happen. Like, a lot of us are scared of the dark, but it was for that. Is a valid reason why we're scared of the dark or not? I guess that's the question.
Yeah, that's the question. And I'll say I grew up in Sacramento. I grew up in Oak Park, which is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Sacramento, and the houses there from the Victorian era, all throughout that area. And we stayed in a Victorian style house, but because of that, and this is the hood, the ghetto, right? So there would be houses that were abandoned and things. So just picture an abandoned Victorian style house. We had that in our neighborhood, and I'm talking about, if you've watched any scary movie, a lot of them take place in old rundown Victorian houses. So that would be one thing that was scary for me as a kid. Our house was so old. We had in all the doors inside the house, even the front door, had unlocked by skeleton key. Skeleton key. I mean, it was updated to use regular keys, but they still had the old skeleton keyholes on all of the doors. There were, like, we found hidden passageways in the house that we were in, and it was the Victorian style houses, especially there, were built where you had to walk upstairs to get to the living floor, the first floor. It's you were really like on the second floor, but it's the first floor, and then beneath that is the basement. And it's the perfect setup for a scary movie. But I'll tell you one thing: when I was a kid, when Nightmare on Elm Street first came out, it was still in the movie theater, and I was at my dad's house in the Bay Area, and I was just a scary little kid. I ain't gonna lie, man. When it came to the horror stuff, and I couldn't watch it without being petrified. So the commercial for Nightmare on Elm Street came on TV. And my dad was like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna go to the movies and watch that." I was so scared of the trailer that I said I wasn't gonna go. I was crying and everything. I think I was young. I was real young, and he was like, "Okay, well, we're gonna go. You don't have to go. You can stay here." He was like, "But if Freddie knocks on the door, make sure you let him in." Dude, I almost crapped my pants, dude. I mean, literally. And I think that's the reason why, since then, as I got older, I terrify little kids. Like, I scared I can cuss here, so I scared the shit out of little kids, right? And it was funny to me. It would be hilarious to see a kid like my little sister. She was growing up at the time of It with Pennywise the Clown, and I used to give her a bad time with Pennywise the Clown. The original It, and I've just been that guy, man. So maybe I don't know. Maybe that's me getting my payback. But I'll tell you what, since I had that shadow person, dude, I don't walk through the house without turning on a light now at the age I'm at right now.
I know how it is, man. Like I said many times, like I gotta walk inside, and it's just a desert in between me and the house, and this is
I couldn't imagine.
Things have happened like in the sky too many times after a podcast, just because of the vibration of the conversation or whatever. But I don't know. Paranormal. I don't know. It all. I guess I'm. I just love being human still, and still going through all that. Like it's part of the process. Like it's exciting, But I'm 44 years old, sitting here at 1:13 in the morning, and we talking about ghost stories. I'm living the dream, man.
Yeah, you're living the dream. Yeah, that's me.
We all here. There's 17 in the chat, and me and Rob all just sitting here talking about ghost stories. Like, what else is there?
It's spooky. It's spooky, and we're getting closer to that spooky season.
Man,
and I'm not gonna lie.
A story from somebody.
Yeah, can we hear a story? We have Jim in the back. I'm gonna bring Jim up to see if he has a spooky story for us, and then I'm hoping other people have spooky stories as well. I got it. I broke the ice with 2 terrifying stories here, and then we shared some spooky situations from growing up. So I'm hoping other people.
Deb from Sacramento, I know you got something.
I know Deb does. She lives with Skinny Bob, so I know she has something. Yeah, she does. She lives with Skinny Bob. She definitely does. Here we go, Jim. Bringing Jim up to the stage. And let me make sure he's up here with this. I might have to move this. Let me see. Hold on, Jim. Give me 1 second here. Okay, Jim. Can you hear us? Okay. Uh-oh.
Mike Jones, you talking my language with the DMT.
We got a Deb from Sacramento sighting here. I'm going to leave the spooky music going for you, Deb. How you been? Got Deb from Sacramento sighting here. I'm going to leave the spooky music going for you, Deb. How you been? Got Deb from Sacramento sighting here. Oh, now we got the endless spooky going for you, Deb. How you been? Got Deb.
That's creepy.
Hold on. Okay. You there, Deb? I think she just muted.
You hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
There we go.
Is this a Verizon commercial?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Good. So first of all, before you give your spooky story, thanks for your support, Deb from Sacramento. Totally, I love you.
Of course.
I just want you to know that.
I love you, Robbie G. You're the best. You're the best.
Thank you so much, Deb. Now go ahead and spook. Let's get it spooky here. I'm bringing Area 51 up here on stage too. We're ready.
You won. Well, Jim goes first, doesn't he?
I think he's AFK right now, away from keyboard. I think we did take a while to get.
So you want me to go first then?
Yes. And 1, 2.
Okay.
3.
Okay. Yeah. So mine isn't particularly spooky, but Paramarv reminded me of this memory tonight in chat because someone brought up astral travel, and I had made a comment. Yeah, I had a very intense astral travel experience once, and he said, "Well, have you?" And I briefly told him what it was, and he was like, "Whoa." And I said, "Well, maybe I'll talk about it the next time I call into the show."
Yeah.
And I didn't know I was going to call into this one. I just but then I started remembering all of it and thinking about it. And what I want you guys to do for me, because I don't want it to be a big, long thing, so I'm going to try to nutshell it. But when I'm done telling it, everyone here listening, you tell me if you would describe it as an astral traveling or what you would call it, because this is how I think of it. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So 5 years ago, my best friend of 30 years calls me out of the blue, and he's in San Jose, and I'm all the way up here in Sacramento. And he says, "Hey, Dad," his dad, who was just like my dad, he was in the hospital. They rushed him in. They had him on a ventilator, and they didn't know if he was going to make it through the night. And they were afraid he was going to die. And I said, "Well, do you want me to drive there?" And he goes, "No. Don't do that right now. Things are just too hectic." He says, "We're hoping he's going to make it through the night, and then I'll come, meet you tomorrow, and I'll take you to see him." And I was like, okay. So, I had to go to bed because I had to work the next day, and I'm praying for him, and I'm just, hoping he makes it through. Well, during the night, I had a very intense encounter with him. I was suddenly standing by his bedside, and he was in, his hospital gown, and there was no one else in the room. He woke up. He took the ventilator off, like the mask. He took it off. And I said, "Oh, my God, are you okay?" He goes, "You need to walk with me." And he got out of the bed, took me by the hand. We walked down the corridor. There was no one, in the hospital. There was no one there. We were all by ourselves. And he said, "I'm going to have to leave you guys." And he said, "I want you to tell them that I'm going to be fine and that they don't need to be upset. Go on with their lives. Don't be, live in sorrow over this," because it was a super close family. Everyone loved him to death. His name was Jim. And he said, "Just trust me on this." He says, I'm brought you here because you're the only one that I can tell this to that will believe it." Because his family was not, I don't want to use the word religious, but they weren't open to these kind of experiences. They wouldn't have believed it. He said, "I don't want you to tell them." He goes, "What's happening here? But I'm going to leave you." He said, "I won't be here tomorrow." And he said, "And you're going to know when the time is right to tell Ruth." Now, Ruth was his wife. He says, "Don't tell Mike because he'll just, call you crazy. When the time is right, you'll know when to tell Ruth, and you share it with her." And he goes, "And you have to go now." And he gave me a hug, and I was gone. And the next thing I knew, I woke up in my bed, just, sobbing. And I thought, it's just a dream. He's going to be okay. And then the next morning I got the call, and he had passed at the time that I was sleeping. Now you tell me, was that astral travel? Was it a dream? Because I verified the time he died and the time that I woke up, it was the same time. And then also they said that when he died, he still had his hospital gown on, and that he died, with the ventilator on, very peacefully. So that was very intense, and it really, shook me to my core for a long time. So a couple years later, it was at least 2 years, I was on the phone with Ruth, his wife, and we were talking about Jim because it was his birthday. And she told me, she said, she told me about, she finally was starting to feel like he was communicating with her. And she said, do you believe in that kind of thing? And I was finally able to share that experience with her, and she was open to it. And she was so happy that I told her about it. So.
Wow. That's heavy right there. That, if he had passed, I don't know if that'd be astral travel. Maybe I think that's, what do you call that? Like, I think Lovey Love said, spiritual, maybe that is a premonition and a spiritual message from him. So that's like his spirit visiting you. I don't know if they consider that astral travel once you passed on.
Yeah. Well, the reason I thought it was astral travel is because when I was standing there with him, it was as real as me sitting here right now, looking at everything, talking to you. It didn't feel like a dream. It felt like it felt as real as right now, me sitting here talking to you, like it really happened.
Yeah, just
so
like
it did feel. I'm sorry, what?
I said, just like my shadow person, that was here in actual real life, not even in a dream or anything like that. That was
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were visited. Yeah. Lovey Love says a real visitation. That's almost what it sounds like. Like you were visited by a spirit, by his spirit. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. And then a couple of years after. Yeah, and after I told his wife, about a year after that, he visited me in a dream, and there was a definite difference. He visited me in a dream, and we had always wanted to go on a cruise together, but I never had the time either. It's always a situation where when you have the time, you don't have the money, and then when you have the money, you don't have the time, right? And so I never got to go on a family cruise with them. And that was always the thing he wanted me to do. And in the dream, we were on the cruise together. And he was telling me, I was so excited. It was like he had never passed. I'm like, you're alive. You didn't die. You're really here. And he was very scolding. He said, no, I'm just here to say hello to you because you finally are on the cruise with us. And when we're done, I'm going to be leaving again. He said, and you need to let go and don't be sad. He says, I mean it. He was very, scolding me. He said, don't get upset. He said, this is just a visitation. And he made it very clear. And there was a real difference between the dream and that experience that I had. So, those are the two heaviest things that I've ever experienced as far as anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That is, man, I appreciate you sharing that because, yeah, I've had the dream before after my grandmother passed, and it's obviously, a dream. It's a dream. But to be in waking life and to have that, the closest thing I had was the shadow person. And since I had that shadow person, I could totally see what you're describing happening for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about that, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's all connected. No matter what you call it, it's all a connection. I've had my mom passed in 2005, my adopted mom, the woman that raised me, and I had a dream maybe like a couple of years ago of her walking into a building, and I knew like she had been waiting to reincarnate or whatever for a long time, and I knew that she was ready to do that. So I've had dreams like that too, and I believe it. And I believe it's all connected.
And I know I've talked to paranormal people before. You probably heard me ask them this. Ask them if the realm that you go to when you go to the other side after you pass, if it is the same realm that you go into when you astral travel. Some people say, yeah. Some people say, that sounds plausible. So maybe it's still the same place you go to. So maybe it could be considered, but I don't know if astral travel just pertains to while you're still in what we know as life and then afterwards, but it may still be the same realm.
I think it has to do with like frequencies, I think it's a frequency thing, but it's like you're talking about doing radio. Okay, but there's a bunch of different radio stations on radio.
Right, you're tuned into that frequency when you travel. There, you're in that frequency. Then,
right?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Could be the same place. That's.
there was a time I've spoke about it before, maybe with you, Rob, but like after I was in Florida doing a bunch of ayahuasca ceremonies, like leading them, and of course, like I do the medicine too, but not to the extent like that people are in ceremony, but I'm basically microdosing each time I do it. And so I was doing a bunch of ceremonies back to back, and we went over to visit some friends. And long story short, they were training their dogs with a dog collar that had a audible whistle that only the dogs could hear, but I was hearing it, and I was tuning in. I wasn't supposed to, as a normal human hearing, you're not supposed to hear that frequency. The frequency is always there, because we know the dogs can hear it, but we can't hear it because we're not tuned into that frequency. But I was so in tune with the ceremonies and all that stuff. I could hear it I was tapping into a different level of the frequency. Like I've said before, like how far does that spectrum go? And I believe the answer to that my own question is infinite. I think that scale goes infinite in all directions.
Could be. I'm open to that.
Yeah, that is awesome. I mean, obviously, we will all know at some point in time when it comes our time.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading. I just went over the chat, and because I'm on two devices, and I'm reading people's comments.
Yeah.
Joe says, and then Joe says, and then Deb pushed, and then Deb pushed him down the stairs.
Yeah. I was gonna read it, but I was like, is this not read that?
I can't read these comments. Stay on the phone with you guys. I'll start busting up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Joe is a character, man. Sure.
I know he's the best. Oh my gosh.
He is,
So,
and hopefully some of those people out there like Joe come up on stage as well and share.
yes, Joe, call in, please. That would be nice.
It would be cool. It would be cool, Joe Monk, calling on
Yeah, Joe Monk. Step up, Joe Monk. Monk the Punk. Come on.
Oh, you got called out, Joe. Monk the Punk. I got it.
Well, guys, I'm going to sign off and let you do your thing so that Juan can tell his story next, because I want to be in chat and just listen. I've already done my thing, so let me get out of here, okay?
Yep, definitely.
Good to hear
Okay,
from you,
honey.
Deb.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, awesome stuff. And I know we had Jim in here, so Jim, if you're ready to tell your story, you can unmute and then come up and tell your story, sir.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Please say, I can hear you, Bim Jim, or
I
Jim.
can hear you, Bim Jim.
Okay, thank you, because I got some weird sound settings going on here. In any case, yes, okay. So when I was 22 years old, I was down in Australia. I was walking down a sidewalk, and this guy jumped out in front of me on the sidewalk, and I knew the guy, and I said, "Oh, hi, John." And he was an older guy, and I was hanging around with a bunch of young people, my own age, around 22, but this guy, John, he was an older guy. He jumped out in front of me on the sidewalk, and he says, "How would you like to come over and stay at my farm with my family?" And I said, "Gee, that sounds like fun." So he says, "We'll feed you. We have a bed. You don't need to bring anything. Just get in my car. We'll go out there." So, okay. I said, "Yeah, this sounds great, eh?" So we drove out there to his farm, and we had a wonderful dinner. It was a vegetarian dinner. It was very delicious. And John lived with his wife and about 15 children who he was taking care of, kind of like an orphanage, right? And on the property, there was one small old house. The house was old. It never had electricity in it. And it just sat there, and the house was empty. And everybody there, all those people, they all lived in various shacks and sheds and trailers and stuff around in the backyard, which I thought was kind of weird. But so we had a wonderful dinner. And then John says, he says, you can sleep in this house here. So I said, yeah, sure, okay. So he got an oil lamp. Excuse me. He got an oil lamp and lit it because there was no electricity in the house at all. And we walked in the back door and it was just empty. It was all clean and empty except for one bed and a built-in bench, and that was it. So I walk over to the bed and I sit down on the bed, and John turns around and hurries out the back door. And as he was hurrying out the back door, I already started hearing these weird sounds, and it sounded like somebody working on the workbench with a bunch of little pieces of wood and metal, and they were bonking them together. So there's little noises like click, bonk, bonk, click, clink, clank, little noises like that. And John disappeared out the back door with the light, the only light, right? And so I'm sitting there. Now there was some light in the room. I could see a little bit around the room. And after John left, this noise got louder and went clink, bonk, bing, bonk, And I thought, well, that's weird. John must be out the back working on something. I didn't know where the hell it was coming from. So I thought, well, I'll just lay down on the bed and maybe John will stop what he's doing. So I laid down on my back on the bed, and as soon as my head hit the pillow, the noise got much louder. And it was coming from very close to me on this workbench that was just through a door in the next room. And I thought, well, that's weird, And as soon as I laid back, it got louder. So I sat up and it got less loud. And I laid back and it got louder. And so this thing that was making the noise seemed to be in touch with my mind because it responded to what I was thinking. If I thought about getting up, it got louder. But if I didn't think about if I thought about getting up, it would get softer. So anyway, it was obviously in touch with my mind. So I got up and I walked into the next room where the workbench was, and it was completely clean. There was nothing anywhere. And it was silent as well. So then I went back to the bed, sat down, and I could hear the sound again. And then when I laid my head back, it got really loud again, right? So I thought, okay, this is a ghost. I'd never seen a ghost before, never met a ghost before, but I thought I'll communicate with this thing telepathically. And so I tried that. And sure enough, when I thought to it telepathically, the sound went louder or softer depending on what I was thinking. So I realized, okay, I'm communicating with this ghost, right? And it was just in the next room. And so I thought, okay, I'm getting tired of this guy. I just want to sleep. And this ghost guy, I call him, this ghost, he had no power. All he could do is make these silly little noises. And I thought, what an absurd entity this ghost is. What a ridiculous consciousness to hang around for 100 years in this house and do nothing but make little noises at people to annoy them. And I thought, oh, that's ridiculous, And so I told this to the ghost. I said, look, I'm alive and you're dead. Do you know you're dead? And he answered, yes. And I said, so I don't like you, I told him. I said, I like living people. I don't like dead people. And so then I yelled with my mind at him to F off, but I spoke the full word out, and I really meant it because I was getting mad at this thing by this time. And so I yelled at it with my mind, I don't like you, so F off. And then there was a loud boom against the wall, like a brick being thrown against the wall. And then everything went calm, very calm. I was calm. The sound came back normal, and I just went to sleep, and I had the best sleep of my life. Even since then, I've never slept for like nine hours straight. But I did that night. I slept 9 hours straight. Okay. I got up in the morning. The sun was up, And I went out the back door, and John was sitting there at this table, all alone, smoking his pipe. And I went over, sat across from John, and he said one thing to me. He says, "Did you sleep well?" And I said, "Yeah, man, I had the best sleep of my life. It was great. You know, I had a great sleep after I got rid of the ghost." And when I said after I got rid of the ghost, he choked. He literally choked and started coughing. I got up and ran away. He was so surprised by my answer and my response to this ghost thing, because he thought, that I would be really afraid of the ghost and all this stuff. But I said, no, I just got rid of the ghost. And he literally started to choke and ran away, as if, I guess maybe he thought I was going to attack him, which I had no intention of. I was happy that I had met a ghost, and I know more. After that happened, I knew more. I knew, okay, ghosts are real. That's okay. I don't mind. Everybody talks about ghosts, so I wasn't surprised that they're real. I wasn't surprised that they can communicate by telepathy. And, I was cool. So anyway, John gave me a ride home, but he didn't want to talk to me anymore. I don't know what all that was about, but that's exactly what happened, man. I'm just telling you step by step what happened. That was it. Any questions?
No, awesome story. I really appreciate you for sharing that, Jim. Did you have anything to ask him on that, Drew or Juan?
Well,
I'm still trying to think if people can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. I think I had my mic off when Deb was on.
Oh, yeah, you did. If you said something, we didn't hear you for sure.
Okay. Is this the first time you guys are hearing me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, scratch all of that.
So with Jim's story, did you have anything you wanted to ask him on that?
No, I'm actually kind of just in awe, just because I think I've only seen one ghost. Might have been a ghost. I'll say it.
You see, what I have for you people is I have instructions on how you can meet a ghost. If you've never met one, I can give you instructions. It's really easy. And do you want to hear the instructions?
Yeah, go ahead. Give us the brief version if you can.
Okay. First of all, do you meditate? Everybody?
Maybe, I guess.
Okay.
I do not.
I can. You should meditate. It's helpful. But if you don't, I'll give you the instructions. Very simple. Okay. Go around wherever you live. You're in. Were you in Bakersfield, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now, in your town somewhere, there will be some people who are ghost hunters, right?
Mm-hmm.
There will be a group there somewhere in a town that size, I'm sure. You find those people, and you go and talk to them, and you say, do you know where there's any haunted houses around here? And they should know. I mean, obviously, they should know. So you want to find that haunted house. Now, make a deal with these ghost hunter people. Just say to them that you want the house to yourself for the night, and you want to turn the power off, and you want to go in there and just stay the night, take a sleeping bag and maybe a little snack or something like that, but no cell phone, no technology at all, no flashlight, nothing, just a dark house with no electricity. You go in there after the sun goes down. You go in there, you make yourself comfortable, you lay down, put your head back, and go to sleep. Now, that is how you will meet a ghost, I think, because that's exactly what I did, and that's how I met a ghost, was just, no technology, though. I recommend, that's my own personal recommendation, that you take no technology. I mean, when I was going out doing these things, I wouldn't even wear a watch. I would be as low tech as possible. And that's okay. You can try that or not.
I could understand the logic in that, Jim, and I do appreciate you sharing that. And I could see how the outcome would probably be that you would meet up with something. But the problem I have is that I'm not going anywhere in the dark with no ghost, and it's just because I'm a scaredy cat. And if I don't have a phone to call for help, then how in the hell am I going to get up out of there? Now, but I appreciate that, Joe. That Jim, that's funny, and it's actually great information. and I really do appreciate you sharing that, man. That
Yeah.
was an awesome story and also
Thank you.
awesome information there. I do appreciate you, Jim.
I think everybody put themselves in that situation, being like, "Could I do that? Could I?"
Now,
But I
because
know,
there is,
I as he was saying it, I was like, "Yeah,
yeah,
that's an idea." But
yeah, no, and some people will do that for sure
yeah,
with
I
that
get it.
advice, and I'm sure that will be the outcome. There is a haunted hotel here, and these are some of the things I'm going to go and I'm going to these places, and I'll have it airing on this channel. I've already lined some places up to go, on some road trip type of stuff that I'll be filming. And that was one of the places I know locally where I could go. It's a really old hotel from like it was built in the early 1900s. It's like the seventh floor. There's a particular room. If you rent this particular room, it's supposed to be haunted. And I'm going to do that, but I'm going to go with technology. So in case I have some issues, I'm going to be able to get up out of there. But I do appreciate that, Jim. And Juan, did you have something? Because we'll take Juan's story and then we'll go ahead and do the trivia, the Halloween trivia, before we wrap up the show.
You guys can hear me clear?
Yeah, we can hear you pretty clear.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, you could get closer to the phone if you like. It wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. I'll try to get closer. Yeah, I'm stuck between two stories. One of them is mine, and then the other one is a friend's. And I'm trying to really quickly decide, since it's kind of in the theme of what everyone's talking about right now. I'll do the one with my friend first, and then I'll save the other one for later.
Yep.
So I used to live in Kissimmee, Florida, in 2000 to 2002. I lived in Kissimmee, Florida. So I was in fifth grade at the time, and our fifth grade class at Kissimmee Elementary was the fifth grade class was outside in mobile, like trailers, and that's how we were just separated. They hadn't built that side of the school yet, so we were all placed out there. In our fifth grade classes, there was two, and there was one called the gifted classes, where like they were all pretty bright students. They had like high GPAs, and yeah, they basically were just they excelled at everything. And then we just had our normal class where I was in, and so we always had competitions between both of the classes. But to put it short, they sent one of their kids, one of the students from there to our class because he was kind of failing, and he wasn't keeping up with the education program that they were teaching there.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent him to us, and he had a really hard time adapting to our class because we were rivals. They're giving us one of theirs, and we're like, we don't want you here, kind of thing. So people kind of were mean to him. So me and my friends started feeling bad for him, and so we started becoming friends with him, and then eventually people started warming up to him, and became one of ours. One of our classmates, and hung out with us. So this is towards the end of fall, going into winter, and it's getting close to winter break. So we're all getting ready, we're all talking and sharing what we want for Christmas. And he was telling us he wanted a scooter, right? So, at the time, I don't know if everyone remembers, like the early 2000s, those Razor scooters were like popular. They were
Yep.
hugely popular. So I assume almost every kid who had wealthy parents or some kind of money probably got one for Christmas. I was not one of those kids.
Right.
But so we all head off to break, and 2 weeks later, obviously, we come back, and he's acting different. He's like completely different person. He's not happy. He's just kind of quiet. And we're all excited sharing stories about what we got for Christmas and what we did and where we went. But he's just quiet in the group. And so we were at lunch when he wasn't talking, and we were walking back to class, and we're walking outside, and I go, "Hey man, everything okay?" He's like, "You're kind of quiet." And he's just like staring at me. And we get back to class, and he used to sit in front of me. There was like 5 tables per section, and he used to sit in front of me. He was just staring at me, and I go, is everything okay? Because we had like 5 minutes to kind of settle in. He's like, can I talk to you after class? And I was like, sure. And he's like, okay, all right. So class ended. We're waiting for the bus. We're walking, and pulls me aside. He's like, hey man, I don't want to sound crazy. Something happened to me when we went out to break. And so I was like, all right, cool. So he's like, do you believe like in like ghosts or anything? And I go, I'm a fifth grader at this point. I'm saying yes. Growing up in a Latin family, Mexican family, they tell you about all the. That's all they tell you. It's about weird stuff happening to you. So he's telling me that he woke up Christmas Day. He got a razor scooter, obviously, and he took it out. He was just riding, seeing all the other kids around his neighborhood that were riding, and apparently his house where he lived was near a main road, and that main road was split by a sidewalk and then like a huge line of just like bushes, just like 10 bushes that were tall to kind of block off the noise and block off the view from the street.
Mm-hmm.
But in between some of the spaces, there was like little spaces that you would be able to cross, and then you'll end up at the sidewalk where this main street is. So he was riding down the sidewalk on his side of the area, and apparently he met this kid that was going around, and he had never seen the kid before. So he approached the kid and he's asking him, "Hey, cool scooter." And he's like, "When did you get yours?" And he's, "Oh, I just got it. I just opened it. Just got it today." And he's like, "Oh, awesome." And he's like, "So did we." And he's like, "Okay, cool. You guys want to ride?" And so I guess the kids that they were hanging out with at the time just kind of went off on their own, and he stayed with him. And so they started talking, going around, and eventually he pulled up ahead of them because they were trying to race. He said, and he pulled up ahead of him and he dipped into he dipped to the left into one of the spaces to go to the sidewalk, and then he didn't see him. So he was just kind of like, well, where did he go, And then he stopped, thinking about following him, but then he just kind of chilled for a moment. And he's like, okay, he's not coming back. He's like, so he's going, and he goes into the entrance where the kid disappeared. And then next thing you know, he's like hearing like ambulances. And then there's like car stop, there's people getting out. And he's just like wondering what's going on. He can't really see because a lot of people started crowding. And the paramedics came, they were checking on someone on the floor, and he was still scared to approach until someone was like, yeah, he overheard someone like, yeah, some hit. He was on a scooter.
Wow.
And he goes, what? And then that's when he like froze and just kind of looked around. And then he went further to where it was kind of blocked off and he was trying to get through. And he's like, hey, I think I know the kid. I was just playing with him. And when he got there, he saw the kid. He was on the ground, and then it was the same scooter that he was running. It's the same kid. And so they were trying to revive him because apparently he passed away. But what he told me was that when he was talking to the paramedics, he talked to the paramedics. He's like, "Do you know this kid?" And he's like, "We were trying to reach his family, and or someone that knows him." He's like, "Yeah, I was just playing with him, but he doesn't live around here, you know." And he's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Well, then the guy who actually hit him on accident crossing the road, he said, well, I've been here for 30 minutes and like been waiting. Like, how could you have possibly been playing with him like 5 minutes ago?
Wow.
Like, he's been here for a while." And that's when he was like, "No, that's impossible." He's like, "He's been out there for like an hour with us." And he's like, "No." He's like, "These kids have been here for a while, and we've been waiting for people to come and check up on them." And so, yeah, I don't know if people have experienced that before. Where I've heard people, it's not the first time that I've heard someone tell me something like this, where the person's either already deceased, but they don't believe that they are, so they carry on thinking that they're still alive, and they appear to people.
Yeah. That reminds me of The Sixth Sense, right? I think it was The Sixth Sense
Right.
where they were kind of walking around like that. just unaware of being passed on. Wow, dude, that is heavy right there and scary at the same time. And the thing that always brings it home for me is just my experience that I had. I know that because some people would listen if they hadn't had an experience and be like, oh, wow, okay, that's crazy if that's true. Yeah, but I know that I've seen things from a different side and I know that happened. What do you got? What's that, Drew? Can't read it. It's out of focus.
I typed this in. I typed this in. This popped in my head before, like 5-10 minutes ago, like way before he started telling that story. This is in Google. Stories of people seeing people to find out they're already dead.
Wow, dude. What's the odds of that?
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah, that's pretty.
That
pretty
is
cool.
bananas, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
is.
I was
I
thinking
was just
about
sitting there
telling my
thinking, I was
story.
like, if I'm thinking about a story that fascinates me the most, and I've heard these stories before, I've heard, this is not an uncommon story. It's not common, but it's not uncommon. I've
Yeah.
heard it before, and it just fascinates me because, when people tell it, like they really believe like they're with that person. So the question has to be like, are they with the physical person or are they with the essence that is so strong that it creates the basically illusion of a physical person?
Right.
That's deep.
Right.
But
Or
yeah,
just,
that's real. Like, I'm not making any of that up. I typed that in. I wish I knew exactly why I typed that in, but it was definitely before you told this story.
Yeah,
that
there
is
was with him, like I said, his attitude changed when and he was totally a different person for the rest of the year.
yeah,
Before we graduated elementary school and went off to middle school, he was just like dead stares, barely laughed ever since that. And that was like the last time I saw him when we all split off. You know, there were some people that split off to just across the street, and others that went farther to another middle school. But yeah, his demeanor changed, his attitude completely changed, his mannerisms changed, and I think the whole time he didn't think I was going to believe in it. We're kids, so I can only imagine how difficult it was for him. I mean, it affected him in a very, very big way, apparently. So
yeah, dude.
it
Yeah,
creeped me out,
man.
man, because there's a lot of people that I met in Florida that have had so many experiences when I was a kid, and he's just one of them that was able to tell me that story, and he didn't want to tell it to anyone else, and I don't think he got around to telling any of the kids. But we were waiting for the bus, and I was just kind of like, "You really saw this?" So that's always stuck in my mind because I still remember his face when he was like, "I need to talk to you." It was just kind of one of those things where I'm like, oh, "Okay,
Creeping me out.
yeah," but
Creeping me out, buddy. But that's in a good way, though, man, because that means that's really good. I mean, obviously it's scary too, but it's a really good story, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us
of
one.
course,
Wow.
thank you.
I mean, that's the mic drop story right there, really, because I didn't know where you were going with it at first, and then even at the end, I was like, okay, well, okay, he got hit as you guys were playing, okay, but then when you threw the twist on there, then I was like,
Yeah,
ooh, okay, now I got it.
yeah, he had been playing with him for a while.
Yeah,
And like I
yeah,
said, he only waited until I think he probably waited like less than a minute before he went after him because he thought he was just gonna pop back in. He didn't think that he needed to go chase him. But then when he didn't come back, he decided to go look, and that's when. So he said he never heard any car acts, like any tire screeching or any kind of hits. It was just there already.
dude, that is bananas, dude. Yeah, and save that other story because obviously we're gonna
Yeah, of
be
course.
doing this for weeks until Halloween. And
I'm
we're
glad
gonna
you
do something
picked that
fun.
story, man.
I know
I'm
exactly.
glad you picked
I
that
was
story.
That's
between
I'm telling
that
you,
mine
I'm a
and that
little
one.
freaked out. Like, I straight up, I'm a little freaked out. Like,
And you
this
and
stuff
you feel
happens a lot to me, but
Yeah,
that was really weird. Like, especially I didn't, like Rob said, I didn't know where he's going till almost the end. I was like,
yeah,
no, like,
look.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was appropriate too, because I was like, no, mine doesn't really fit in with it all. And
No, that
uh,
was
Deb told the outer body experience one, and I said, okay,
It's
that one
just it's just crazy
close.
when like there's a
how that
connection,
lined up.
guys.
Yeah,
Like everybody
Yeah.
that's here, I want to like put
yeah, it's on record.
escalation on this point and let them know like you're here for a reason in this chat right now. Like there's
Definitely.
there's
Yeah.
connections that is like someone said in the chat. I think Love said in the chat that is blatantly obvious. I want to really point out like this is a moment, like pay attention, like maybe you go outside and look at the sky, you know, take a break or something and go look at the sky or something, because something is connected here and it's showing itself. Like I'm telling you.
And here's how we're gonna end it. This is the last story. This
Nice.
story, we're gonna have Joe Monk tell his story. So
Is he
we're gonna
coming up?
he's up right now.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Uh,
you guys, I'll step down. Thank you guys for listening. I know it wasn't my story, but I felt like I needed to share it.
Dude, that was awesome. Appreciate you, Air 51. You bringing the
Of course,
heat, never to sleep,
of
buddy.
course,
Appreciate you.
of course. You guys bring the heat. Never to sleep.
All right, we
All right,
doing
guys.
trivia right after this. Yep. Take care, man.
Yeah, take care too. Thank you guys.
All
Bye,
right.
Rue.
All right. So next up is Joe Monk.
Dude, that was legit.
Here we go. Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Monk. I worked in a hotel many years ago. The housekeeper called me, said, Joe, can you come down here? I went down there and I opened the door to the room, walked in, and there was a lady laying on the floor. For years after that, I would sit in that room on the anniversary of her death just to see if something would happen. Nothing ever did. But that hotel, yeah, it was haunted as shit. I'm not here. I just gave you a great story in the chat. Read that. Oh, okay, I'm out of character now. All right. That was Joe Monk, ladies and gentlemen, telling his story. Give Joe Monk a round of applause. And if I didn't get your voice right, Joe Monk, it's because you didn't step up here and let us hear your voice. I can only imitate you after I've heard you speak. But this is my look. He says, holy shit, next time I guess I have to call in. I did my Joe Monk voice because this is Joe Monk right now in my mind. This is Joe Monk. And I had a really creepy story at a hotel many years ago. So with that being said, we're going to now break it up a little bit because we have a little bit of trivia to get to. And I thought about keeping the same music, but I'm going to change the mood real quick. We're going to get us our classic trivia music here. And here we go.
Those miles.
All right. Yeah, here we go. This is our normal trivia music here. And we'll just go ahead and do that. We've been in the darkness for a while here. So we're going to go ahead and end it off on a good, positive, snappy, upbeat kind of note here. And this is just some Halloween trivia, nothing too difficult. I hope to win. That's all I'm saying. Let me go ahead and get the YouTube chat set up for this. Everybody knows how this goes. Just get your fingers ready and make sure that you are not cheating. Come on, man. Not saying Mothman cheats, but he seems to get the answer right all the time. So he could either be a genius or a cheater. I don't know. The jury's out. Okay, so
turn the camera off so I can Google.
yeah, exactly. Let me get I'm getting the YouTube chat because everybody claims that it's not right if it doesn't come from there. So here we go. All right. This is a little bit of turn down. Okay. Thanks. All right. We are all set to go. Some good old Halloween trivia. And obviously this is the month of the spooky, so we'll do some spooky themed stuff every single week here. Why not? All the way through Halloween. We'll figure out something next week. All right, here we go. Let me look these up. Good way to end the show out. And okay. Trivia is... Oh, is that what I deleted? Yeah, hold on. All right, give me a second real quick. I have it right here though. Okay. All right, here we go. First question. What is the name? Let me get this off the screen here. All right, what is the name of Dracula's sidekick? What is the name of Dracula's sidekick? Who knows this? What's the name of Dracula's sidekick? I see a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. We have it's Renfield. And actually, they have a movie out right now with Nicolas Cage playing Dracula and then another guy playing Renfield. It's actually pretty good. Renfield is the right answer. Joe Monk. Awesome stuff. Okay. Let's see. Next question here. What country is believed to be the birthplace of Halloween? What country is believed to be the birthplace of Halloween? Joe Monk is smashing it. I think Joe Monk's cheating, guys. Joe Monk has his Google up where he's asking Alexa. All right. Joe Monk got it. It is Ireland, guys. It's Ireland. I didn't know that. Wow. Ireland. All right. Let's see. Get into the next one here. Didn't know this one either. What vegetable was originally used to carve jack-o'-lanterns? What vegetable was originally used to carve jack-o'-lanterns? If Joe Monk gets this immediately, I know he's cheating. Because I don't think anybody's going to get this answer. I had no clue. What vegetable was originally used to carve jack-o'-lanterns? Which is banana when you hear this.
Bananas?
Not a banana. Ooh. Still don't see the correct answer. We'll give it a couple minutes here.
Vegetable?
Yeah. Believe it or not. Why would you carve a pumpkin with another vegetable? I don't know. But this apparently is, it's going to blow your mind.
A vegetable.
I got to get a buzzer sound effect on here.
Turnip?
Yeah, it's a turnip. It's a turnip.
It's a turnip?
It is a turnip. Believe it or not.
No.
Believe it or not.
Turnip.
It is a turnip. I would have never, ever guessed that in a million years. It is a turnip. Good job, LVL. I don't know how you got that answer, but we're keeping an eye on you.
Did someone say turn up?
Yeah, turn up.
Someone
exactly.
say turn up? Oh.
Exactly.
Oh,
it's a
just
turnip.
different turnip.
I know what a turnip is. Exactly.
Oh.
All right, here we go. Next question. Which famous magician died on Halloween? I didn't know this either. Which famous magician died on Halloween? Oh gosh, I know that's just a typo, Deb. I know what you were trying to do there. I'm going to give that to Deb from Sacramento because it is Houdini. And she fat fingered it and put the Y instead of the U. Got it. She must spelled it. Deb is hilarious, dude. So hilarious.
Not Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah. Awesome, Deb from Sacramento. Okay. Next question here. What do people in Mexico celebrate on October 31st? And I don't know if it's actually, maybe it is on October 31st, but they celebrate this instead of Halloween. They don't celebrate Halloween. They celebrate this. Thank you. I should give it to two people on this because it is Day of the Dead, but it's Dia de los Muertos. Dia de los Muertos. And let me see. And it looks like, let me see who got it first. Yeah, I mean, Drew Banky got it. He doesn't know the answers, so I guess he could play. Why not, right? He doesn't have the answers.
Yeah, I can't look over there.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't see.
I gotta give it to Drew Banky because he can't see the answers, so he doesn't know.
Look, can I see? Maybe I can see.
I would have liked the translation because it's actually the English translation is Day of the Dead, but it's really Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah.
But we'll get that to you, Drew Banky. We'll let you
now.
know.
Whoever put in the full effort, I think it was. I seen Love put in the full effort and typed out the whole thing. Yeah. No.
Yeah, actually, that's what I said. I was going to give it to two people. Actually, I'm going to give it to Drew for Day of the Dead. I'll give it to the first person that said Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, Joe Monk said something like that. It's like Portobello's Muertos or
yeah. He definitely fumbled the ball on that one.
Yeah.
So did Area 51.
Yeah.
Area 51.
But he can't
Spanish.
Joe can't get all of them, so we got. I take it.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna give that one to you for Day of the Dead, and then LVL Dr. Love for the Spanish, the actual way to say it, which is Dia de los Muertos. So we'll give her that as well. It's all about learning. You walk away, even if you're not a winner, you're a winner because you walk away with knowledge. And let me see. Okay. All right. Next question. Hey, let me see. Somebody dropped a fun fact in here. Let me do that real quick. Mike Jones, fun fact. There's a museum of the dead in Mexico that's creepy and costs 5 cents. Okay. I'd love to see it. Awesome stuff. All right. No Spanish answers, but it's how you it originates from Mexico, so it's Dia de los Muertos. And then if you want to know what that means, then the translation is Day of the Dead. But first is Dia de los Muertos. Second is Day of the Dead. All right, here we go. Next one. In the movie Hocus Pocus, what are the names of the 3 witch sisters in the movie Hocus Pocus, which I never watched? What are the names of the 3 witch sisters? Any Hocus Pocus fans out there? What are the names of the 3 witch sisters?
It's 3 names.
No idea. Nobody watched it. I would think at least the ladies.
All right, someone Google it.
More, yeah. Go ahead and Google it if you got to. I hate to say that because then you're gonna use Google for all of them.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna give you the answer. It's Winifred, Sarah, and Mary Sanderson.
Oh,
Yeah, I would have never known that either. Next question. What does the word hollow, Hallow, mean in Old English? What does the word hallow, Hallow, mean in Old English?
talking about like Amish.
Area 51 said he just watched Hocus Pocus last night. He put the answers in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's being serious.
I don't know.
Hey, okay, wait a minute. Somebody had it. Let me see. Holy. Yeah. Lex Diaz got it. It's holy. It's saint or holy. So it could be either or. Great job, Lex Diaz. All right, let's see. Wait a minute. Nurse 51. Did he put the answer? No, you didn't put it in. You didn't put it in time before I gave it, but that's okay. All right.
You gotta be quick.
No one's gonna know this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. In what year will the next full moon occur on Halloween night? In what year will the next full moon occur on Halloween night? I don't know if anyone knows this.
2024.
I think they're just throwing years out there, like
Oh god. Lotto numbers.
exactly. I guess they got to get it at some point. You name every year. Okay, I'll give this one up to the year 3000. Yeah, probably not it. LVL, the year 2039 is the correct answer. The year 2039. That's a long time from now, so I don't think we have much to worry about there. But it is 2039. Hopefully we're here to see it. Maybe we won't be. Maybe we will. Let's see. What is the most commercially successful horror movie of all time? I had no clue about this.
Oh,
What is the most commercially successful horror movie of all time? You might be shocked by this. I'm just reading this. I haven't done homework to know if this is the truth. I have a hard time believing that it is, but they say that it is, so we'll see. Nope. I don't think anyone's going to get this. All good movies, though. You guys are naming really good movies. Okay, no, I don't see it. So it is, believe it or not, 2017's It is the most commercially successful horror movie of all time. Wow. And it's not great. It's not a great movie, to me at least. Okay. But at least you learned that.
The Shining. The Shining shook me.
Yeah, there's way scarier stuff, but I guess
Those two little girls in the hallway.
With social media and everything is kind of easier, I guess, to achieve that. But next question, what phobia do you suffer from if you have an intense fear of Halloween? I didn't know this either. What phobia do you suffer if you have an intense fear of Halloween? Mind blowing. I'm learning a lot here, I'll tell you that. Most of these answers I didn't know. I'll give it to you. It's Samhainophobia. Samhainophobia. Samhainophobia is the intense fear of Halloween. Insane.
Did you pick up the advanced deck or something?
I'm telling you. This one should be easy. Very easy. Everyone should get this one.
All right,
Which famous horror movie villain has a signature hockey mask? Which famous horror movie villain has the signature hockey mask? Looks like Joe Monk got it first. Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees.
Is that the correct spelling on the last name?
Yep. I don't know if it's two O's. It might be though. I think it is.
I don't know. I'm just messing with Joe.
Giving Joe a hard time.
That was good though. Yeah. Especially on the fly. First
This
and
one
last.
should be easy too. What was the first horror movie to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar? What was the first horror movie to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar? I'll give you a clue from the 70s. From the 70s. I narrowed it down for you.
Oh, maybe. Hold on.
One of you guys said it earlier when you were guessing the other one. Jessica S. It is The Exorcist. The Exorcist,
Too late.
1973.
Too late. Same timestamp, 217. Man, Jessica got me by seconds.
And we're going off YouTube chat, so the StreamYard chat is off. That's why I use the YouTube chat. Okay. This doesn't even. Okay. If this is true, this may or may not be true. I don't know. According to superstition, if you stare into a mirror at midnight on Halloween, what will you see? I don't know if this is the true answer or not. Fact check this one, please. According to superstition, if you stare in the mirror at midnight on Halloween, what will you see? Somebody Google it just so we, because I don't think you'll get it at all. Somebody go ahead and Google it. If you stare in the mirror at midnight on Halloween, what will you see? Area 51 said Jason Statham. Drew Reggie said Robin Williams. Nothing. Okay. If it's not coming up with anything, then I'll skip it because it doesn't seem right to me anyway. Let's see.
Don't unlock a portal.
Okay, here we go. You got this one here. What classic horror movie features a famous line? They're here. What classic horror movie features a famous line? They're here. That is Poltergeist. Joe Monk got it. It's Poltergeist. Area 51 says The Shining. You're thinking of Here's Johnny. Poltergeist is correct answer, Joe Monk. I think we know where this is going. Let's see. All right. What is the most popular candy sold during Halloween? It's my favorite. My favorite one for Halloween. I trade everybody in the bag, whatever you want for this particular candy. What is the most popular candy sold during Halloween? And my favorite, which would be Joe Monk with the correct answer. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, my favorite, all-time favorite candy on Halloween. I will trade everything in the bag for this. Hey, Maggie M10, welcome to the show tonight. We are right in the middle of smack dab of trivia. And we'll take trivia into overtime, Maggie, because you're here. I'll get another set of questions and we'll add to the fun here. So you got a chance to catch up. Joe Monk is doing crazy things right now. He's getting every answer almost. So yeah. All right. What color cat is commonly associated with Halloween? Be easy. What color cat is commonly associated with Halloween? Yeah, LBL. Like, yeah, and Lex Diaz. Once I'm about 2 more questions, and then I have to get some more. So, say you can take the break at that moment. LBL, black cats. I'm superstitious too. I don't let black cats cross my path and none of that. Yeah, Lex Diaz. We have like, let me see. Okay, 2 questions. That's it. This is real quick. In the movie Halloween, what is Michael Myers' signature weapon? In the movie Halloween, what is Michael Myers' signature weapon? What is Michael Myers' signature weapon in Halloween? Lex Diaz got it. It's a knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife. How was that, Maggie? Was that good? Is that how he does it? That's not a knife. This is a knife. Crocodile Dundee, if anybody doesn't know. Yeah, actually, I checked the wrong person. Sorry, LBO. It's not you. It's Lex Diaz. Yeah, the Machete Joe Monk is Jason Voorhees. All right. Okay, last question before I grab a few more for Maggie M10 to give her a shot. What was the original title of Disney's Hocus Pocus? What was the original title they were going to use for Disney's Hocus Pocus? If anyone knows Hocus Pocus history, you should know it if you want. You just watched it. Said you just watched it. I'll give it to you. I don't think anybody's going to get it. It was called Halloween House. All right, so I'm going to grab a few more questions here, another set. And Lex Diaz, go ahead for you, pee your pants and take a break. And I'll be right back. Give me 2 minutes to get this back together. Okay. We're ready with the next batch of questions here. All right. Here we go. In what year did Michael Myers first appear in the Hollywood movie franchise? In what year did Michael Myers first appear in the Hollywood franchise? What year? Deb from Sacramento, 1978. 1978. All right. What candy was given to soldiers during the Korean War to boost morale and is now a popular Halloween treat? And it's a treat you could have. It's always at the bottom of my bag with the candy corn. What candy was given to soldiers during the Korean War to boost morale and is now a popular Halloween treat? Think of what's left at the bottom of your bag on Halloween after you've eaten everything else and you got the candy corn in there. And what else do you have besides your candy corn in your bag? Area 51, that's right, Tootsie Rolls. Tootsie Rolls. I made some chocolate milk out of Tootsie Rolls one time. We all had a bunch of them at the bottom of the bag, and we put them in a pot with some milk, put them on the stove, and made some of the most delicious chocolate milk. Well, at least that's what I remember. Made I was a kid. What was the name of the hotel in Stephen King's The Shining? What was the name of the hotel in Stephen King's The Shining? If anybody remembers that. The name of the hotel in The Shining. Yep. Joe Monk got it. Quick on the draw, Joe Monk. It's the Overlook Hotel. Awesome stuff, Joe Monk. Killing it. Killing it. And then to go with that, which horror movie features the line, "Here's Johnny"? Which horror movie features the line, "Here's Johnny"? Yep, that was a gimme. I can't believe it took that long to get that. It's The Shining. Yo Monk again. All right. Let's see. Next one is according to folklore, what is a vampire's weakness? According to folklore, what is a vampire's weakness? And there's multiple things, so I'll just give the first person who got it would be, there's a few different things, obviously, but sunlight is definitely one of them, Joe Monk. It's sunlight, garlic, wooden stake, and holy water. Either one of those would have been a correct answer. Ooh, Lovey Love, she named them all, though. Wow. Not silver, though, but everything else. Silver is for the werewolf. But I like that. I'll give you that too, LDL. Because you named them all, which is awesome. Let's see. What Halloween monster is said to transform during the full moon? What Halloween monster is said to transform during the full moon? That would be a werewolf. Not to be confused with wolf or with Dogman, though. I did a show recently. It was on Friday with my guy Star Fox at Midnight Lycanthropy. And I asked him if they were related in any form, and he said no. Dogman is not related to wolf or werewolf in any form or fashion. So there you go. All right. What is the most commercially successful horror franchise of all time? So not movie, franchise. What is the most commercially successful horror franchise of all time? Ooh, I wish it was Saw, Area 51. That's my favorite. This one you wouldn't have thought of, but they have like at least 6 movies, I think, in this franchise in the last 10 years. I'll give this one to you guys. It's the Conjuring universe. All the Conjuring and Conjuring related films as a whole. All right. What do pumpkins grow on? What do pumpkins grow on? What do pumpkins grow on? Yeah, they do. They grow on vines. Lovey love, LVL. Got that right. You'll be surprised some people get that wrong. You'd be shocked. All right. In the movie Beetlejuice, how many times must you say his name to summon him? In the movie Beetlejuice, how many times must you say his name to summon him? Quick on the draw, Joe Monk with 3 times. He didn't just say 3, he said 3 times. And that's quicker than someone just punching in 3. But Joe Monk is quick on the draw. Awesome stuff, Joe Monk. All right. Let's see. I did not know this right here. This is a fact or a shock to me if it's true. In what U.S. state is it illegal to sell or use silly string on Halloween? In what U.S. state is it illegal to sell or use silly string on Halloween? I would have never guessed this. Yeah, Area 51. You got it, dude. The place where I live, California. I would have broken that law. I would easily go spray silly string on Halloween, not knowing that it's illegal. And I lived here for many, many years. Had no clue. So, fun fact is, specifically, it says California, but specifically in Hollywood for whatever reason. So, yeah, I think just Hollywood in California, nowhere else, just Hollywood. It's pretty crazy. What is the significance of bobbing for apples in Halloween tradition? What is the significance of bobbing for apples in Halloween tradition? What is the significance of bobbing for apples in Halloween tradition? Didn't know this either. Yeah, nobody's going to get this. Apparently, And you can fact check this because I'm not saying it's true. It's what it says here. It says it was originally a fortune-telling game to predict future relationships. I don't know. All right, let's see. Which vampire hunter is famous for defeating Count Dracula? Which vampire hunter is famous for defeating Count Dracula? Man, Joe Monk is on it. Van Helsing. It is Van Helsing. The vampire hunter, I guess, maybe. Okay. Which classic horror movie features a serial killer wearing a William Shatner mask? Which classic horror movie features a serial killer wearing a William Shatner mask? That's right, LBL's Halloween. I never knew that for many, many years. That's one of my favorite horror franchises. I never knew that was a William Shatner mask, but it is apparently. All right. Let's see. Which ingredient is most commonly used to create fake blood in Halloween costumes and movies? What ingredient is most commonly used to create fake blood in Halloween costumes and movies? Okay. Dead fish cheese spread. It's actually corn syrup, not chocolate syrup, not cherry. It's corn syrup. Corn syrup and mixed with red food coloring. It's an awesome job. I think I've had to make that before for Halloween. And here's the last question here. Actually, two questions. What does a black cat crossing your path traditionally signify? What does a black cat crossing your path traditionally signify? What is a black cat crossing your path? Yep, LBL got it. It is bad luck. And I believe that. Let me see. Let me make sure she was the first one. Yeah. According to YouTube chat, she was the first one with bad luck. And who needs that, right? Err on the side of caution, right? All right, last question. In the movie Ghostbusters, what was the giant marshmallow monster called? In the movie Ghostbusters, what was the giant marshmallow monster called? Yep. Dev from Sacramento got it. I'll give it to you. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Awesome stuff. Let's go ahead and tally the vote. Tally the answers tonight. And no, Joe Monk was doing some killing. So let me see here. I don't know. All right. Joe Monk got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, pretty much no who won tonight, but let's make sure we count everyone to make it fair. 11th for Joe Monk. We got Love Be Love got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, 8. That gave him a good run for his money, LVL. Joe Monk with 11, LVL with 8. And let's see, I think everyone else is probably chopped liver. Let me see. Drew Banky got 1. Lex Diaz got 1. 2. 2 for Lex Diaz. Deb from Sacramento got 1. 2. After all that, Deb, you asked for the trivia. You only got 2? Let's see. All right. And I think that was it. Okay, Area 51. He got Tootsie Rolls. He got 1, 2. All right. Dead Fish Cheese Spread got 1. So I think we can say without a doubt the winner for tonight is Drew Banky. No, I was playing. It's Joe Monk. Joe Monk got it tonight. Killed it with 11. Smashed everyone. Smashed the bits and pieces. The little itty bitty bits and pieces. However, LVL, she was right there on the back tail. Almost had him. Fantastic job, Joe Monk. A little Halloween trivia. Get you going. Get your spirit going. We're halfway through the month. It's 18 days until Halloween at this point. So 2.5 weeks. We'll do this again leading up to Halloween. It was about 2. We at least got 2 more of these shows before Halloween. And then we'll do a show on Halloween. Some sort of Halloween themed show. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. But awesome stuff. Yeah, really had fun with that. Glad we were able to do that as well. All right. Okay. So with that being said, great time tonight, guys. We did some really fun stuff, and we're gonna continue to do this. We had a great Halloween conversation. I'm really glad you guys shared your stories tonight too. Really spooky. Area 51, Deb from SAC, Jim, Bim Jim, Drew Banky, and am I forgetting someone? That would be crazy if I am. Drew Banky, Deb from Sacramento, Bim Jim, Area 51. Okay, that's it. All right. And Joe Monk, of course, that I had to read in Joe Monk's voice. So I don't know if that really counts, but we'll go ahead and give it to him. Maybe next time he'll call in. And yeah, no problem at all. Glad to be able to do this fun stuff tonight. Like I said, we're over here chilling on my channel, and we can just do this anytime. So this show is specifically to have a good conversation, but we want to also do whatever you guys want to do as well. So we'll continue to do this as we get more. As the schedule becomes more comfortable, then we'll add a second day into the call-in show. And so we'll just have fun for the rest of this month with this stuff. And anyone that's new, hope to see you back. Consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell to let you know when we go live, even though people have been saying it hasn't been working, has been notifying. But really do want to see you guys back. Thanks so much for coming on in. And let me see, is there anything else? No. I do want to again though. Want to thank the new members. We had a lot of new members came on today, which was so awesome. And I just want to give you shout outs once again here to Mothman, Richard Wilson, Love Be Love, Dogface, Woo Riders DG, Poncho Zorg, Deb from Sacramento, and Joanne, T-Bone, Maggie M10, Deborah Nunley, and the Beekeeper. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for becoming members tonight. Also, Deb from SAC, thanks for the awesome super chat, as well as Richard Minnick. Thank you so much for your support of the show here. And we're just going to get better, man. We're just going to raise the bar. If you've been with the channel, you know that that's exactly what we've done, and we're going to continue to do that. And this is going to be the place to be. So, like I said before, please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button. Let's get the algorithm kind of going and recommending this stuff out to other people. And outside of that, guys, have a great rest of your night or day wherever you are at in the world. And we will talk again soon. Tomorrow at the after hours, make sure you're there. It's going to be an awesome show. You guys all take care.